Chris here from Inside the Recording Studio podcast. In last week's episode, Jody and I talked about the Fairchild compressor. So in this video, I'm going to show you how we can use the Fairchild on some drum tracks. Here we are once again in Logic, and we're working with some drums today. So let's take a listen to the raw drum tracks here. First, let me introduce the Fairchild on my drum bus. Let me play a little bit for you first, and then I'll break down what I did here. Let's listen. So we're getting a little bit more life out of the drums, I feel. And what I've done is I have them in linked mode here. It's just a stereo drum kit going to a bus, so there's not too much difference on the left and right in this case. So I'm just using the linked mode here. I've adjusted the threshold so that I get about 3 dB of gain reduction. And I've used the time constant of 1 here. I found that this gave me the most life. They're all pretty quick attacks, but this has the quickest release. Let's do that again, and I'm going to switch over to a couple of different release times here. I'm going to go to time constant 2 and 3 and try to pay attention to that. The longer the release time here, it kind of squeezes the life out of the drums, at least it does to me. So let's check that out. I think time constant 2 there sounds pretty good. I believe that's going to be about a release time of about 800 milliseconds. So it's pretty much on the slow part, but I think that works for this track. Next, let's take a listen to the kick, where I've inserted a mono version of the Fairchild, the 660. And again, here I'm looking for about 3 dB of reduction that I'm compensating for here on the output gain. Again, a time constant of 2 here. So let's take a listen to what that adds to the kick. Here we go. That's a little extra mojo there, I think. Then we're moving on. We're doing the same thing with the snare. Again, very similar settings. I'm looking for just a few dB. It looks like I'm crushing this one a little bit more here. Still on time constant 2, and I'm making up for about 5 dB. So let's take a listen to what that does to the snare. So to my ear, that sounds pretty good. It brings the whole kit to life. Now there's one more secret weapon that we're going to do, and you might have noticed that there's been a track muted in my arrangement here, and that is a room track. So let's take a listen to that by itself first. I'm just going to solo that. We're not going to get anything else. So this is just the raw room track. Okay, nothing too fancy. Now, with this one, I am not being very kind at all. I am crushing this room track. I'm using a lot of heavy-handed reduction. I've also used a longer release time here because I want this to kind of be very steady, just have an ever present in the background there. Let's listen to what that does just to the room track. So it's not very friendly sounding at all, is it? But now let's blend that in with our kick. And I'm going to toggle the Fairchilds on and off here so you can see what overall what that is doing to our drum tracks. Here we go, starting with them on. So brings all those tracks to life, I think. Now there's one more thing that we're going to do, and that is I've added on my 2-bus here. I've used the Slate virtual bus compressor, which I believe is a cross between a Manley and a Fairchild. Now I'm not going to use any compression on this, but what we're just running the mix through this unit, and I want you to listen for around the snare kind of thing in the upper mids here, how we're going to get a little bit of a bump by simply just running through this unit. Again, I'm going to start with it on, and I'm also going to add some keyboards, but you're going to hear how it adds a nice little bump in that high mids. So there you go. There's a couple of things that we can do on the individual shells. Does wonders for the drum kit. And don't be afraid to put it on your 2-bus either. It adds a nice little effect to it, even if you're bypassing, so to speak, the compression.